Syracuse Lacrosse is one of the most historic programs in all of collegiate athletics. 11-time national champions. Countless Tewaaraton finalists. But they haven't won one since 2009. That was the last time a national championship trophy came back to Syracuse, New York. Last year, Syracuse looked like they were destined to be a historic team once again. They started the season 5-0, dominating every single opponent. And then the world stopped. The NCAA tournament was canceled. Spring sports were canceled. Hockey shut down. Baseball shut down. NBA shut down. And there was unfinished business left on the table. Throughout all the disappointment, throughout all of the journey, these Syracuse lacrosse players kept it with them, the dream of being national champions. The Orange ended last season number 1 in the country, destined for gold. These seniors came back for one last ride to suit up inside the dome and put an orange jersey over their head. The season starts now. After 351 long days, Syracuse lacrosse is back, and it starts against an arch rival, the Army Black Knights. Number 4 Syracuse, number 12 Army, inside the dome, next on Orange Sheet. Welcome inside the Carrier Dome on a beautiful Sunday afternoon for college lacrosse. After 351 long and painful days, college lacrosse makes its return to Central New York. And it's the number 4 ranked Syracuse Orange, playing host to the 12th ranked Army Black Knights. I'm Giovanni, your play-by-play commentator for the night, and what a better way to start out the 2021 campaign for Syracuse, taking on an arch rival, Army. These two teams go way back, playing each other all the way into the 20s, 30s, 50s, 40s, 60s. They've played each other since the beginning of the sport of collegiate lacrosse. Army dominated early, and few people know that. But then in the 80s, it was a turn of the tide for Syracuse. The Gate brothers brought a new generation of Syracuse lacrosse, and everything changed at that point. It's 27 wins, 40 losses for Syracuse against the Army Black Knights. The longest win streak was 11 games for Syracuse. They've won 3 in a row, and every single time these two go at it, it goes down to the final wire. Syracuse and Army. It's going to be intense. It's going to be physical. It's going to be fast-paced, and it's right here on Orange Heat. Again, Giovanni Heater with you. Couldn't be more excited for today's matchup. The Orange and the Black Knights going at it. Both goalkeepers, Drake Porter for Syracuse and Wyatt Schuppler, had fantastic campaigns last season. 7.18 goals allowed per game for Wyatt Schuppler. And then on the other side for Drake Porter, he has a save percentage of over 50% at 57. It's the Orange taking the field in the home whites with some new white helmets, orange stripe, and a blue S. We haven't seen those before. All white face mask. And it's going to be an exciting one inside the dome, to say the least. The key to watch for Syracuse, the midfield attack. And just like that, we're about ready for face-off at midfield on Ernie Davis Legends Field. And we're away. And it's an early face-off victory for Syracuse. And starting things out, you have to look at the attack game for Syracuse. Jacob Fopp wins the opening face-off for the Orange. Had a fantastic campaign last year. He shares that face-off X at the 1 position with Danny Varello. Both those two guys, dynamic face-off guys, very different in their game. And Syracuse trying to start out early, and they do. Chase Scanlon, just under 30 seconds into the ball game, gets Syracuse on the board, and he doesn't wear number 22 for nothing. It's the historic number for Syracuse lacrosse as Scanlon pulls separation from the defender, dives away towards the crease, and from about 10 yards out, gets it past the goalkeeper. Scanlon, 18 goals last season, 5 assists, total of 23 points. He's a sophomore for Syracuse. He led the team last season in goals. And again, he wears that historic number 22. A transfer from Loyola coming to Syracuse last year. And what a perfect way to start if you're Syracuse. It's a 1-0 lead over Army. The Orange ranked 4th in the country. Army listed as 13th today, and another face-off win for Syracuse. FOP wins it, and it's 16 of 19 last season versus Army, and that's a big storyline today because Army needs to find a way to win some face-offs against Syracuse if they want to assert themselves into this ball game. And FOP was 16 for 19, was lights out when these two went at it, and it was a 9-7 slim victory for Syracuse last season on their road to being 5-0. Pass on the inside. That one is too much for Rafis to corral, and Army will have their first opportunity to clear, the first turnover for Syracuse, and the first to touch it was Marcus Hudgens, a junior from Syracuse, New York, played his high school ball at West Genesee High School. Very historic program. A big ride here for the Orange. Bodies colliding down on the left side of the field. Both the Orange and the Black Knights trying to keep it in play. They do. And a fight and a scrum for it along the left side. And the whistle will be blown going the other way. So Syracuse creates a little bit of a turnover here, and they get the ball back. And again, physical lacrosse is what you have to expect when these two teams go at it. It's a rivalry game, and it doesn't get any better. And there's Jamie Trimboli, the senior for Syracuse, with Rafis at the top as well. Brendan Curry in the ball game. This midfield attack for Syracuse is arguably the best in the country, and it's really exciting to see what the ACC is going to do this year. I mean, the list goes on and on. Jacob Buttermore. I mean, you could talk about every single guy on the field right now. Rafis gives it to Scanlon, who will take it from X. Scanlon wraps around, sends one towards the net. A big save here. And a defender's able to scoop it up. Tough ride here for Syracuse. Hacking is Griffin Cook, but the ball does get to the goalkeeper, and the Army Black Knights will clear it away. Tough ride for Syracuse. We've played just about a minute and a half so far here. And now the first offensive possession, really settling it down, is Nicholas Garifano for Army. Now, Army comes into this game already 0-1 on the season, had a huge test against Virginia, who's one of the top teams in the country as well, and still technically the defending national champions from 2019. They lost that matchup to Virginia. 14-9 was the final score there. Wyatt Schoper was good in net. He had 11 saves, 14 goals allowed, and man, is Army going to need him today. Syracuse with a very tough defense. And a strip for the Orange. And there's Drake Porter scooping it up to clear it away. Now Syracuse back on the offensive. Top of the key, it's Brendan Curry. Up towards the 40-yard line. The Orange really spreading out the offense. Now Scanlon on the left side. Back to Curry. Curry creating space. Gets it to the top. Tucker Dordovic, he's a story to watch for Syracuse out of Oregon. Dordovic spinning. Dordovic lets one rip, and this one goes wide left of the net. Out of bounds, but a backup man is there for Syracuse. It's Griffin Cook. And John Alberici, another Central New York product, head coach of the Army Black Knights. So a lot of fans of Central New York, a little bit torn here. Are we rooting for Army or are we rooting for Syracuse? Scanlon will take a go at it from behind the cage. Able to create separation, hit a cutting Griffin Cook, but the ball hit the deck, checked away, and now Army creating a turnover, much needed as Syracuse is already up on the scoreboard early. And Kyle Bayer has had a couple of big plays down low on that left side. A long pull for Army, and now they move the ball quickly. Fast break opportunity and a goal. Getting the Black Knights on the board early in this one. Aiden Burns, the junior from Garden City, New York, 6'1", 195-pound attackman. And on the fast break, Syracuse didn't stand a chance. 1-all inside the dome, as that one was low to the stick side of Drake Porter. Closing out defensively was All-American Brett Kennedy, a redshirt junior out of New Jersey. But Aiden Burns was smarter than everybody on that play. And Army's tied things up at 1. And here we go for the face-off once again. And a violation against FOP. So, rather against Army instead. So FOP is awarded the possession. He'll run off the field. And again, Fogo's changing the game of lacrosse. New midfield line comes in for Syracuse. Their second midfield line, the first time we'll see them today. Owen Hiltz running the show for the Orange. Rafis back to Scanlon behind the net. Scanlon loses control of it. Out of bounds, the ball goes, and it's a Syracuse turnover. Bayer to clear it away for Army. Scanlon with a great ride. The goalkeeper, Wyatt, comes out of the net to scoop it up, and he's able to get it up the field. Army completes the clear, but not without high drama. Just under 10 minutes to play here in quarter number 1, and we're all knotted up 1-all. Now the Black Knights just slowly moving the tempo of this game, sharing the ball towards the top, and finding out a way to attack this very talented Syracuse defense. Kennedy comes out. Now it's at the top for the Black Knights. A little bit of a screen offense here, setting picks, trying to create separation. Feed behind the net. The defender elects to stay with his man. A shot goes wide, too high for the crossbar, and Drake Porter didn't have to do much there. But the Black Knights do have a backup, and for those who don't know, in the sport of lacrosse, a shot goes closest man to behind the net. When the ball goes out of bounds, closest man to it is who is awarded the possession. And this time, Syracuse had the backup. So Army gives it back to the Orange, and the Orange will clear it. Curry up the field, gives it off to Rafis. Now behind the net to Griffin Cook. Back to Rafis. Now Cook. Finding Scanlon. Back to Brendan Curry. They let it get a hop around the circle, and now they'll give their offense a go. Curry lost control of it. A fight for the ball, and this time it goes across the baseline once again. Syracuse is awarded the possession as Army tried to keep it in bounds, and Griffin Cook will start with it for Syracuse. Cook gives it behind to Rafis. Rafis a spin move at X. Rafis attacking. Gives it off Tucker Dordovic. Dordovic a go. Dordovic lets one fly, and he buries it to the back of the net. Syracuse with a 2-1 lead off the heels of Tucker Dordovic. And people were excited to see what he had to offer. Had a sensational freshman season. Just before his sophomore campaign, actually tore his ACL and was out of commission that entire year. A big loss for Syracuse, might I add. And then last year played good through 5 games. Last season had 10 goals, 4 assists. But again, now he has the opportunity to come. And this is what Syracuse fans are really seeing him for the first time since his freshman campaign, with everything that transpired last season and the season being cut short after just 5 games. Tucker Dordovic, one of the best midfielders in the country, and Syracuse has the best midfield line without a doubt. Here's Peter Dirth after the face-off win for FOP, and Peter Dirth, a man to watch, arguably the best defensive midi in the country. And that's what happens when you're highly ranked like Syracuse. Ended last season as the favorites to win the national championship. They were ranked number 1 in the country. And now here the Orange go on the attack. And this was the story last year for the Army Black Knights. Just couldn't get a face-off win against the Orange, winning just 3. The Orange dominated that section of the ball game. And here they are doing it again. They've won every face-off thus far. But Syracuse turns it over here. Trying to find a man down low was Owen Hiltz, and he just threw it too wide for Chase Scanlon. Out of bounds, the ball goes. Now Army to clear. Scanlon riding on the goalkeeper. Able to get a pass up towards the middle of the field, and now a great clear for the Black Knights and a transition opportunity. Right side ripper, and it goes just wide left of the net. Hit the outside. Drake Porter scoops it up. Now to Brett Kennedy. Kennedy pushes the pace up the field. And Syracuse with a clear of their own. It circles around to Stephen Rafis. Scanlon, a high pass, finds Dordovic as he comes onto the field in the substitution box. Curry, Trimboli will give it a drive from the left side. Hits Griffin Cook down low, and Cook swarmed immediately. Back to Brendan Curry at the top. Curry thought about a shot. Over to Trimboli. Now Griffin Cook. Cook a spin move on the right side. Lets one fly, and it goes wide of the net as well. Goalkeeper's there for Army, and they'll clear it away. Plenty of shot opportunities for Syracuse. They're finding space against this Army defense, and they're not afraid to let the ball fly. If Army wants to stay relevant in this ball game at this point, they need their goalkeeper to have a real big game. Wyatt Schulper in net out of Florida. It's a 2-1 lead for Syracuse. 5:50 left to go on the clock in quarter number 1. Now Army, one of their first long offensive possessions of the day. And the shot's tipped away by the defender. Trying to put one towards the net that time for Army was Gunnar Phillip, a junior out of Wilmington, North Carolina. And now they'll give it a go from X. Wrapping around the cage, taking a shot that time for the Black Knights was Aiden Burns again. Missed the cage, loose ground ball, and the Orange are there to pick it up. Transition opportunity. And they decide to slow things down. Peter Dirth thought about firing one towards Schulp and thought it would be wiser to slow down the pace of this offense. Finds Scanlon. Looks like Dirth will come off to take a breather. Brendan Curry checks into the ball game once again. And substitutions are huge for Syracuse. They've always been so good at subbing out their middies, and they're just such a deep team at that position. It really doesn't matter who's on the field. Dordovic, a dodge from the top. He's met by a defender, a long pole, does a spin around. Gives it up, Brendan Curry. Curry a drive, tries to feed to the inside. Had Griffin Cook. Passes too strong. Gets back to Dordovic. Dordovic a left-hand ripper. And a goal for Syracuse. Tucker Dordovic has 2 of them so far today. And it's a 3-1 lead for the Orange with 4:26 left to go in the first quarter. Tucker Dordovic showing that he can play just as good, if not better, than he did in his freshman campaign. Number 23 in white gets the Orange rolling early. The last 2 goals. And we'll take a quick break here. Syracuse jumps out to a 2-goal lead over Army. And, Army's not going to go away. There's no doubt about that. They're not a team that does go away. They're well coached, always have been. They always play extremely physical lacrosse. And we are in for a good one here inside the Dome. The first time that Syracuse lacrosse has played in the newly renovated Carrier Dome. We'll take a quick break here on Orange Sheet, and don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Syracuse with a 3-1 lead over Army. First quarter with 4 minutes left to go. Welcome back here inside the Carrier Dome as Syracuse has an early 3-1 lead over the Army Black Knights. And Tucker Dordevic with 2 early goals for the Orange. Fopp loses his first face-off of the day. And again, Army is going to need that if they want to take down the number 4 ranked Syracuse Orange. They gave Virginia a little bit of a fight in the season opener. And what a tough schedule for Army to open up their season. Virginia, then Syracuse. That's the defending national champions from 2019. And then last year's national championship favorites in Syracuse. Next Saturday, it'll be Syracuse and Virginia going at it. And again, if you're a lacrosse fan, you got to be stoked for that one. Virginia ranked 3rd in the country right now, Syracuse 4th. Again, that is susceptible to change for sure between now and then. But here we go. Army with an offensive attack. And just like that, they turn the ball over going past midfield. It's an over and back, and now Chase Scanlon scoops it up for a quick restart. And the Orange looking to take advantage. Army's turned the ball over 3 times. Syracuse has turned it over 4 times. Curry comes in, substituting at the midfield at the top. Coming in is Tucker Dordevic and Trimboli as well. Dordevic a dodge from the 35. A spin move. Dordevic lets one fly, and Tucker Dordevic, the hat trick for Syracuse. And there's 3:08 still left in the first quarter. Tucker Dordevic, you are ridiculous. And it's a 4-1 lead for the Syracuse Orange. Just a simple plant of the foot, a roll away, and a right-handed ripper. Burying it to the back of the net, a low shot. And Wyatt Schoper in net didn't stand a chance. His 3rd goal of the season, his 3rd goal today. And it's an early hat trick for Tucker Dordevic and the Syracuse Orange. A 4-1 lead. And Dordevic having himself a ball game already. And another move early here at the face-off X. So Peter Dearth will just toss it off here. A new midfield line in for Syracuse. Once again, giving those ones a little bit of a breather. Owen Seabold runs the show on this line, and there he is, left side 30. Jacob Buttermore in the game as well for Syracuse at the midfield, along with Rafis. Fast to the inside and a goal for Jacob Buttermore. Syracuse clicking on all cylinders. A 5-1 lead with 2:45 left to go. And this looks a lot like the national championship quality team that we saw last season through 5 games. Just an easy pitch and catch, dump to the inside. Buttermore sends it low to low. Only 4 goals last season for Syracuse. Already has 1 in the season opener. And again, Army wasn't there for the response. In net, Wyatt Schuppler, low to low, couldn't find it. And it's a 5-1 lead for Syracuse. Face-off won by Army now. Bayer was the first one to scoop it up, but out of bounds it goes. So despite the face-off win, it won't result in anything as Syracuse with a quick restart. Griffin Cook. Now Brendan Curry back into the game. Here's Tucker Dordevic, Jamie Trimboli, and the ones find themselves back on the field after the twos went and got themselves a goal. Trimboli a dodge from the top, one of the best midfielders in the ACC, if not the country. Actually, one of the best midfielders in Syracuse lacrosse history, to be exact. Curry, right side. Gives it back up Trimboli. He'll take another dodge. Trimboli lets one fly, and he buries one. Bottom right corner of the net. Jamie Trimboli with his first goal of the game. And Syracuse is up 6-1. An early blowout inside the dome. And these middies just can't hang with the Syracuse midfielders. The craziest thing here is that the goals have been coming from the midfield line from Syracuse, not the attackmen. The midfield line for Syracuse. Coming into this, it was said that they were the best midfield group in the entire country. And they're proving it here today. Jamie Trimboli hits his 100th career point for Syracuse Lacrosse. Again, for those who don't know lacrosse as well, assists and goals add up to points. And Jamie Trimboli just got his 100th. He's 7th all-time in Syracuse history for midfielders. And these guys decided to come back for a senior campaign, one last run at it, one last opportunity to create their own legacy, and couldn't ask for a better start if you're a Syracuse lacrosse fan. Tucker Dordovic with 3. Trimboli has 1. Buttermore had 1 on the inside. And it's a very early lead for Syracuse by a large margin. We'll take a quick break here on Orange Heat, and we'll be right back. Thanks so much for tuning in. Syracuse up over Army 6-1. Welcome back here on Orange Sheet. Giovanni Heater with you, and Syracuse Lacrosse up to a 6-1 lead over Army. 2:02 left on the clock in the first quarter, and man, this just, it has a feel to it. I mean, this team is playing with an edge right now. You can feel it. They believed they could have won a national championship last season, and this is just special to watch at Ernie Davis Legends Field inside the newly renovated Dome. Absolutely incredible. And this midfield line has not disappointed for Syracuse in the early goings of the first quarter. Trimboli buried 1. Tucker Dordovic has 3. And Army will go man up here. Trimboli will sit in the penalty box for a total of a minute, now down to under 50 seconds. So we'll see what this man up defense for Syracuse has to offer now. Black Knights moving the ball, trying to find that opening. Giving it around the top. Haven't gotten anything behind at X yet on this possession. Just trying to skip it around, find the open man, and Syracuse is there to close out expertly. Rip from the top, and it goes off the crossbar. Drake Porter was there, one of the best goalkeepers in the nation, but pipes a save, as they like to say. 6-1's the lead for Syracuse still. Now, only 5 seconds left on this man up for Army. Syracuse trying to bleed out the rest of it. 1 second left, and Syracuse successfully avoids the man up. But on the inside, it's a feed down low. And the junior captain, Brendan Nickturn, buries the second goal of the day for Army. And it was just Trimboli. It essentially is a man-up goal because Trimboli's coming back on the field. He's not in the play yet, and it's just a feed to the inside. And Drake Porter doesn't stand a chance when you're, a foot away from the crease. And Brendan Nickturn, 19 goals last season, 27 assists, 46 points for Army throughout just 6 games. Absolutely incredible. Last year against Syracuse, Nickturn had 2 goals and 2 assists for 4 points when these two went at it inside the Dome a year ago. It was a 9-7 victory for the Orange, their closest game of a 5-0 start. So lead by 4 for Syracuse. Fop at the face-off X. A fight for it. Both teams have guys hitting the deck. And it looks like it will be awarded to the Orange as they'll move quickly. Swinging the ball back around to Stephen Rafis behind. Here's Rafis from the left side. And now Syracuse with some kind of violation here. A turnover. And they'll give the ball back again. Can't hear the referees, have the TV's volume down all the way. So Army with a clear here. Looks like it was an offsides for Syracuse in the transition. And now with 13 seconds left, Army will try and close this gap in half. It's a 6-2 lead for Syracuse. A goal here could be big. Down to 5 seconds. 4. Shot goes wide left. Porter was there. Army with the backup. 2 seconds on the clock. It'll just have to be a send towards the middle. They will. And it goes high out of bounds. So that will conclude quarter number 1 inside the Dome in Syracuse. High energy, high pace, and it's a 6-2 lead for the Orange after 15 minutes of play. Tucker Dordevic, a hat trick early for the Orange. And this midfield line has been the story throughout 15. 6-2 lead for the Orange. It's Army and Syracuse inside the Dome. We'll be right back in just a couple of minutes. Welcome back here on Orange Heat. It's Syracuse Lacrosse with a 6-2 lead over the Army Black Knights. And a face-off win here for the Orange early. And of course, it's Jacob Fopp who dominated at the face-off X last season, 16 for 19 against Army a year ago. And he continues his dominance so far today. The midfield line has been the story for Syracuse throughout 15. As they finally move the ball back to the attackman, is Griffin Cook to Scanlon. Some substitutions coming on, and here's the ones. Brendan Curry now with a run at it. Feed to the inside. Dordevic pulls it back out. Decided not to pull the trigger. Now Curry again. Over to Dordevic, and he had an open lane. He gets absolutely laid out. Scanlon picks it up, and now Syracuse with a chance. A flag down. Feed to the top. A ripper, and Scanlon put it too high. It was a save and a good one. That time down low for the goaltender Wyatt Schuppler. And a flag on the field. It'll go against Army. 1 minute. Unnecessary roughness. Cross check. Yep. And that's a big one. That's costly of your Army because Syracuse is deadly on the man up. It's going to go against Matthew Horace, who went a cross check high on Tucker Dordevic, and that'll get you a minute in the penalty box every single time. The Orange with a 1 minute man up. And they're going to take their time here and find the best shot possible. Dordevic over to Trimboli. Now Curry. Feed to the inside, and Syracuse nearly capitalized there. Rafis missed the mark. Trimboli thought about one, pulls it back away, and retreating is Jamie Trimboli. as Bayer was all over his hands. Now a feed back to Trimboli. Great save down low by Schuppler. And he wasn't fooled that time off the shot of Trimboli. So that's two massive saves for Schuppler in net and the Army Black Knights. Scanlon met him low to high. Schuppler was there. And then a low save that time as Trimboli let one fly from about 15 yards away. So Army needed saves there more than any point in the ball game. With a 4-point lead for Syracuse, Army scored one. 9 seconds left on the man up at this point. So both teams burning man up opportunities technically because Trimboli was coming onto the field for Syracuse earlier in the matchup. Dan says, interesting how dominant FOP is. It's interesting for sure. And we also haven't seen Varello yet today at the faceoff act. It's listed that those two split the one position, the main faceoff guy. They kind of split carries, so to speak, if you're talking about running backs in football. Haven't seen Varello yet today. FOP last season against Army. I mean, that was the Achilles heel of the Black Knights. They only lost to Syracuse 9-7, and FOP went 16 for 19 from the faceoff X. I mean, absolutely a dominant performance out of Jacob FOP. So it is interesting, but it's been a big story for Syracuse last season. It's why they were 5-0. I mean, lacrosse is a sport where you never have to give the ball back. You can score and just keep winning faceoffs. It's one of the only sports like that. So the faceoff X is so huge in the sport of lacrosse. We'll take a quick break here on Orange Heat as there a TV timeout in the game. Don't go anywhere. Syracuse still a 6-2 lead over Army. We're just a couple minutes underway in the second quarter. And here we go. Series history. The last 4 games between these two teams. Syracuse won against Army 9-7 in 2020. 2019, it was a 10-8 win for the Orange. Army has also given Syracuse a run for their money, though, as well. It's always a highly contested game between these two. Army's not out of this, despite a 4-point lead for Syracuse. We have ourselves a ball game nonetheless. As they're looking for a big goal here. The man up has expired, but they found it. And it was Gunnar Phillip who gave it to him. Coming all the way, swinging from the right side, behind at X, just carried his defender with him and diving towards the goal, wrapping around, getting a shot to fall. It was low to low. And that's a big goal for the Army Black Knights as he gets it past the All-American Drake Porter. 8 goals last season for Gunnar Phillip, an assist as well. And he found a monster one right here to have this game, so to speak. Syracuse a 6-3 lead. But again, Army will not go away quietly. And lacrosse is a game of runs. We've seen it many times this year. Duke with some comeback victories. North Carolina, again, lacrosse, a game of runs. You're never out of a game. Unless you're down 10, you're not out of a game. Plain and simple. Face-off wins, Syracuse with 8 of them, Army with 2, and that's another win for FOP. At the X. And Stephen Rafis now from the right side at the attack. Gives it up. Brendan Curry. And the starting midfield's back in for Syracuse. Here's Curry. Shifty at that top of the center. Now gives it behind Rafis. Over to Dordovic. Dordovic burns his man. Dordovic goes low and he's met by Schulper with another fantastic save. He's been huge in net for Army once he's caught his stride here. Slings a pass on the clear. It was an interesting one, low to high. Tried to get it up to his midfielder. Nonetheless, Army does end up getting the ground ball and clearing, going right at the net and scoring a goal. That time is number 22 in black, and it's Doug Jones. Army with the momentum of their own, just completely taking it from one side of the field to the other. And it all started in net on the other side with a save by their man in net, Wyatt Schuppler. Doug Jones, a 6', 200-pound junior on the second defensive midi line out of West Grove, Pennsylvania. And he saw an alley, took it, went right up to the crease. And again, when you're right up on the crease like that, your goalkeeper doesn't stand a chance. Now 6-4 is the lead for Syracuse. And we've only played 3 minutes so far in quarter number 2. Face-off X again. And it's Jacob Fopp again with a victory. It's not even close at the X right now. Drake Porter gets this pass away. He was well out of net. Now Syracuse to clear it up the field. The twos back in now for the Syracuse offense, and we'll see what they have to offer once again. And a pass behind goes too strong away from Griffin Cook, and Army will have the opportunity to clear it away. And I wouldn't be surprised if the ones now kind of get pulled off the field here. Lucas Quinn tried to find Griffin Cook behind the net and just passed it too low. So here's Army. That's a costly turnover for Syracuse. Army with the momentum right now, scoring the last 3 goals in this ball game. Gunnar Phillip with a ride again towards the right side. Flag is down. It's going to go against Brett Kennedy. Check the stick out of Phillip's hand. And Kennedy is going to head to the penalty box. Actually, instead of Kennedy, they're going to go ahead and get Brett Barlow. So Barlow, this is the second penalty so far on the day for Syracuse. Redshirt junior out of Manlius, New York. Played his high school ball at FM. And just a push on the back from behind, yeah, that's going to be a penalty every time. So now it's a man-up opportunity once again for Army, and Syracuse finds themselves in a sticky situation. Only a 30-second man-up, but man-ups are absolutely huge in the sport of lacrosse. Now they use it, working it around at X. Pass to the top, and the shot goes too high. A backup in there. So, of course, Army's going to keep the possession alive. And, you know, if you have a man behind the net, why not let it fly, especially on a man-up? Black Knights sharing the ball well. Now a feed behind. Found an open man, but a bad wobbly pass allows Syracuse to close out on that easily. And the defensive middies for the Orange doing a fantastic job right now. Leading the way is redshirt senior Peter Dirth, one of the best in the country. And the man up has expired. We're all even. Phillips at the top. There's nowhere to go. Goes towards the right side. A shot goes right at the chest of Drake Porter, and he soaks it up. His first save of the game for Syracuse finds Peter Dirth, the defensive midi. And look at Peter Dirth go. An absolute tank, just carrying 2 guys draped all over him with checks to his wrists and his hands across midfield. And Peter Dirth clears it away for Syracuse as now they go on the offensive. It's Stephen Rafis. Now to Tucker. Dordovic pulling it away. Curry will cut, and all the way from midfield, Dordovic will make a dodge. Gives it off. Chase Scanlon. He's the only attackman to score today for Syracuse. Scanlon finding Dordovic. Now Dordovic in the corner. And that's where they will set up the offense. Dordovic from behind, wraps around, and it goes to the outside of the net. Diving on that one to make sure that there's no doubt about it is Wyatt Schuppler, and he clears it away. Running up the field with it along the left side is Danny Kilbasa. And now Army will take a breather here and get their substitutions on the field, give their defense an opportunity to catch their wind a little bit. 8:07 left to go in quarter number 2. It's a 6-4 lead for Syracuse. Here's a go from behind. Brett Kennedy wasn't fooled by the screen at all, just goes right around it. Kennedy tightly guarding here Brendan Nickturn, who's had a goal already today and led the way for Army last season. Feed to the inside. It's tipped away. And a crease violation goes against the Black Knights. So the defense pays off for Syracuse as they hold the 2-goal lead. Drake Porter will start the clear. Gives it over to Kennedy. Back to Porter. And they're being patient with their clear game, to say the least. Just trying to find an open midfielder. Back to Porter. Now over to Kennedy on the right side. Able to find a man cutting up the field. And Syracuse will slow things down once again. Brandon Aviles holds it for Syracuse. He'll come off of the field. And the 2 line of midfielders out for the Orange once again. Owen Hiltz, give to the left side. Buttermore tried to drive. This pass is tipped away, deflected. Army able to clear it away. Bayer running up the right sideline for the Black Knights. And with 6:36 left to go, Army elects to slow down the offensive possession, but Syracuse has turned the ball over a lot of times so far today, and Army has as well, but Syracuse trailing in that category to Army, just not taking care of the lacrosse ball. Keep your eyes on the senior captain, Nicholas Garofano. Hasn't gotten going so far today, but at that midfield position, he's absolutely dangerous. And here he is right now. Lets one fly, and it's a big save for Drake Porter. Tipped it off of his stick. Out of bounds, it goes behind him. And Army moving quickly again. A long pull out here. Bayer stays on this end of the field. Some commotion, an injured Orange player down on the ground. And you never like to see that. I think he might have soaked a shot from Bayer, who tried to send one towards the net, and that is exactly what happened. Bayer just rifled a shot right into the chest of the injured Orangeman down, trying to get a number, and here we go. It's Grant Murphy. He appears to be okay. Took one right to the collarbone. Out of Woodlands, Texas, a 6'2", 216-pound junior long pole defenseman, close defender. Talented kid. Just took that shot right to the collarbone. He seems to be coming off the field here tentatively. As Desco looks on. And now Army to start again. Plenty of time on the shot clock, 75 seconds. And going right at the goalkeeper this time for the Black Knights, but not getting the shot to go. A save off the pipe for Porter was Bobby Abshir. First time we've said his name today. He's from Commack, New York. Junior midfielder. And again, the midfielders have been the dominant force today for both teams. Phillips thought about it. Gives it back to the top. Army trying to share the ball here. Shot goes wide right. Porter was there. Out of bounds it goes. The Black Knights with the backup. It was Bobby Abshir again trying to rifle it home. Unsuccessful. Army, a goal here could go a long way. Down 2 to Syracuse. That gets them within 1. They have the momentum at this point, but it's kind of, the momentum's kind of slowed down. I really would say that like nobody has the momentum at this point. Kennedy tightly guarding his offensive player. Feed to the inside and a goal. Really fancy stick work that time. And Bobby Abshir, third time's the charm with the diving quick stick. getting it past Drake Porter. And an incredible feed for the Army Black Knights by the captain, Brendan Nichtern. Nichtern to Abshir, and the Black Knights are within one. Incredible play. That's the best highlight we've seen so far of the day. Abshir last season had 7 goals, 7 assists. And he gives Army the much-needed point there. 6-5 is the lead for Syracuse. Army scored the last 4 and has taken the momentum out of the sails of the Syracuse Orange. Fopp wins another face-off at the X. Absolutely incredible performance out of Jacob Fopp so far today. Griffin Cook carrying behind the net. Gives it over to Scanlon right side. Out to Curry. Up to Dordovic, and the ones are back in for Syracuse. Syracuse really in need of a goal here. Though they're leading this game by 1, they were up 6-1 at one point. Now they're up 6-5. Army has scored the last 4 as Scanlon tries to give it a go. And Brendan Curry will dodge. Curry lets one fly, and it's deflected down low by Shuplet. Another save for him, and he's been lights out since Army started going on this run. And he's a big reason as to why Syracuse doesn't have a larger lead right now. Scanlon now. A swim move. Dive to the inside. His pass is deflected. A flag on the ground. It will go against the Black Knights, and Syracuse will take the man up. So this time, again, against the defensive midi, his second penalty so far of the day for Army. Matthew Horace will take a seat again. Second time he's taken a seat. And it's just a 30-second man up for Syracuse. We'll see what they can do with it. Dordovic thought about letting one fly. Back to Dordovic. Now he shoots and he scores. Going high and tearing up the net today. 4 goals for Tucker Dordovic. And it's a 7-5 lead for Syracuse as the Orange come away with a big response on the man-up opportunity. Assisted by Steven Rafis, Tucker Dordovic has an absolute cannon from the outside. Man, he's just fun to watch. Tucker Dordovic is just fun to watch. He can rifle the lacrosse ball at you. He can create separation. He can break your ankles if he wants to. He can spin move on you. And he can just plain out ball. And he's done it so far today. 4 goals for Syracuse. 7-5 is the lead for the Orange. 3:25 left to go here in the second quarter before half. And another flag is on the field. So the goal released the first penalty. And another one here, a 1-minute penalty. It looks like it goes against Syracuse. And it does. Army on the man up. It's against Peter Dearth. Not sure what the penalty there is. Dearth actually goes at a couple of midfielders, just kind of gets shrugged off. He's the one that hit the deck, and penalty against Syracuse here. So Army with a 1-minute man up. It's releasable. A goal would release it. And they get an early one. A feed from the middies at the top, hitting the captain down low. And Brendan Nichtern with another goal for Army just 15 seconds into the man-up opportunity. That's a fantastic feed. Curling around from the X was Nichtern, and the Orange couldn't close in on it close enough. And again, when you're right on the crease, your goalkeeper doesn't stand a chance. Nichtern, 2 goals so far today, also has a nasty assist. And Army right back in this thing. 7-6 the lead for Syracuse. 3 minutes left to go. A rare face-off win for the Black Knights, but they turn it over. A pass goes out of bounds too far, and that's costly. Now Syracuse to clear, up to Scanlon, and they do. And they'll slow down the tempo a little bit. The penalty has been released, so we're all even, 6-on-6. Curry, up at the top. Trimboli, a spin move. Now back to Curry, left side. Curry shimmies, finds Dordovic. Dordovic trying to create separation for a shot. Fancy catch here for Jamie Trimboli. Ball's on the ground. Both teams fighting for a big GB. Dordovic was there for a second. Lots of pushing and shoving taking place. And the Black Knights end up with it. And who else would it be than Kyle Bayer to soak it away? Bayer's been fantastic as a long pole for Army so far today. And he can carry the ball into the offensive end as well. A rip and a goal here. Getting the ball well past the goalkeeper in net. Drake Porter that time for the Black Knights was Nicholas Ettinger, the senior out of Tully, New York. Ripped it home. And the midfield lines for both teams continue to be on fire. That's a transition goal for the Black Knights. And we're all tied at 7 with 1:51 left to go here in quarter number 2. And I've said it many times today, Army was never out of this game, despite a 5-goal lead for Syracuse. I mean, Lacrosse, just a game of runs. We've seen it all year with some of the other games. This is the first game for Syracuse, but Lacrosse has been taking place for about 2 weeks now already. And the rest of the ACC has already played. Virginia, North Carolina, Duke, even Notre Dame. And we'll get into how good the ACC is this year. The ACC is always the best conference in college lacrosse, arguably, but this year in particular, this is something special. Syracuse is the best midfield line. Duke and North Carolina with arguably the best attack lines. Transfer game has been huge in college lacrosse this season. Sowers at Duke at the X has been sensational. A rip here. Porter deflects it away, and it goes out of bounds. Army with the backup. 1:07 left to go here. And Ettinger will take a dodge. Army shot the ball 12 times in the second quarter. Syracuse has shot the ball just 8 times. And it's been a big part of the comeback. Plenty of time. The shot clock actually overriding the game clock right now. Over 55 seconds left on the shot clock. Under 40 on the game clock in the second quarter. So Army can hold for the last shot all the time in the world, and they're definitely patiently waiting this because they don't want to give Syracuse any kind of opportunity after a possible goal or a miss here. 20 seconds to go. It looks like they'll get their dodge now. And they strike. Army takes their first lead of the game, and it's off the hands of a long pole. And LSM buries one, and it's Aiden Burns. Excuse me, it's not a long pole, rather. But Aiden Burns, the attackman for the Black Knights, buries one to the back of the net. Just a great cut off of a fantastic field from Danny Kilbasa. Burns with the second goal of the day, and Army takes an 8-7 lead over Syracuse, leaving them virtually no time on the clock. After Syracuse started the game on a 6-1 run, it's Army's first lead of the ball game. Fopp wins the faceoff. 12 seconds left to go. Now under 10. The Orange running the field. Now 5. Down to 4. Now 3 seconds, and they will head to the locker room. Oh, Syracuse takes a timeout, rather. With about a second left on the clock, John Desko takes a timeout. I think they're going to add a little bit here because teams started heading towards the sideline before that. So now Army has really countered this game, an 8-7 lead over Syracuse. Desco with essentially under 5 seconds, whether it's 3, whether it's 2, whether it's 1, probably under 3 seconds would be my guess to draw something up, try and get one shot. Got to take full advantage of every second. It's a game of inches. What a run by the Black Knights, though. I mean, absolutely incredible. Syracuse was up 6-1. Army's down 5. And they just showed resiliency and grit. And their midfield line has been sensational. And the biggest thing is they're getting shots on the doorstep. They're picking apart this Syracuse defense in the right places and playing textbook college lacrosse. Army has outscored Syracuse 6-1 in the second quarter. And they put a third of a second on the clock when the timeout was called. That's it. That's all Syracuse has, a third of a second. So there's essentially no time for anything here. Wyatt Shuppler just has to be ready for anything in net. And off the bar it goes. I don't think there was any time anyways. It's halftime inside the Dome. Army with an 8-7 lead over Syracuse. An exciting one. The Black Knights with a big time comeback. And they're up by 1 going into the locker room. 8-7 lead for Army. Both teams going at it. It's 4th ranked Syracuse and 13th ranked Army. And a big one so far inside the Dome. We'll go over, see what Nolan has to say here. I think Syracuse has to do a better job of getting their offensive middies off the field quicker during transition. I couldn't agree with you more because of how good the defensive middies for Syracuse are, Nolan. You got Peter Dirth in there. I mean, there's a lot going on for Syracuse at the defensive midi position, but when they're out on the field, and I think Army's done a really good job of picking apart the Syracuse defense. I mean, you have Brett Kennedy holding his own down low, but it seems like the rotations haven't necessarily been there. And, you know, when Scrant Murphy came out of the game, there's been a little bit of a difference here. An experienced guy, a redshirt junior who's played for Syracuse. Syracuse needs to wake up a little bit, you know. So you have to credit Army, though, with a fantastic play here. They've taken advantage of man-up opportunities when Syracuse has given it to them. I think more than anything, Syracuse has to take care of the ball, not turn over the lacrosse ball. We're in for a treat in the second half of action. It's Syracuse and Army going at it. We'll take a break for halftime. We'll be right back here once the game concludes in the action. Thanks so much for tuning in. Don't go anywhere. We got a great second half coming up. It's the Orange and the Black Knights. Army leading 8-7 going into the locker room. Welcome back here on Orange Heat. We're inside the dome, and the Army Black Knights, after Syracuse jumped out to a 6-1 lead early on, have gone through a gauntlet to take an 8-7 lead over the Orange going into the locker room. Here we are for half number 2. It's Army and Syracuse, one of the best rivalries in college lacrosse, inside the dome. Fought fighting for the face-off, and he gets it again. He's lights out at the X, and coming into this game, part of the game plan for Army was shutting down FOP at the X and just being able to win face-off. It results in possessions, and Army hasn't done that. Despite all of those numbers, they have an 8-7 lead over Syracuse. The Black Knights in the away black uniforms with gold numbers and trim. Syracuse, the all-whites. White helmet, white short, and white jerseys. And here comes Syracuse on the offensive possession. Brendan Curry lets one fly from the right side, and not being fooled that time was the man in net. Wyatt Shuppler has been a huge part of why Army has not only come back in this game, but seized the lead. And now the Black Knights with an early goal. Oh my goodness. The second one of the day for number 45 in black, Nicholas Ettinger. And the Black Knights with their largest lead of the afternoon, up to 9-7's your score. And that was quick. Painting the corner was Ettinger. Off stick side high. And Drake Porter saw it, but he couldn't react in time. Ettinger's second goal of the day. The senior out of Tully, New York, played his ball at Tully High School. A lot of local kids on both teams. These are two New York State squads. And now a fight and another face-off win for FOP. But they will say there's a violation, so it will be awarded to Army. And now if you're up 2, I mean, the opportunity's here for the Black Knights to kind of run away with this thing a little bit. You never count out either team. It's Army and Syracuse. This is how these games go every single year. But Syracuse digging themselves into a little bit of a hole, and they have not had the momentum essentially since the second quarter began. And here we are in quarter number 3. A dodge at the top. Gunnar Phillip trying to find some space. Now Garafono going at the defense. Garafono skips it over to Phillips. Phillips a spin move. Still trying to create separation. Feed on the inside. And a save by Porter. The Orange needed that one big time. Wide open on the doorstep was Aiden Burns. And Porter got low enough. Couldn't track down the ball exactly where it went, but it was right at his feet. And nonetheless, he kept that thing out of the back of the net from crossing the goal line. So 13 minutes to go here in quarter number 3. It's the Orange in much need of a goal. Trimboli, left side. Jamie's got 100 career points in a Syracuse jersey. Now Griffin Cook, spin move from X. Gives it off Rafis. Rafis finds a cutting Trimboli, and he sticks it off the pipe. No goal for Syracuse. Brendan Curry saves it from going out of bounds. Nearly lost control of it, nearly stepped out of bounds. The Black Knights bench certainly thought he did, with Syracuse with the possession and a fresh shot clock. Still 69 seconds left on it to be exact. Trimboli. Now Dordovic will give it a go from X. Dordovic a spin move. Feed on the inside, and Syracuse responds. Tucker Dordovic finding Steven Rafis on the cut. And the Orange with a big goal. 9-8's the lead for Army. And this is just the second time tonight that a Syracuse attackman has scored a goal. All day long, it's been the midfielders doing the job. Scanlon had the first goal of the game. Now Rafis finds the first goal of the second half. Steven Rafis, 2 goals last season, 18 assists. A fantastic feeder for the Orange. Some high drama around Steven Rafis coming into this season. Some COVID-19 situations, entered the transfer portal because he didn't know if he would be allowed to play for Syracuse. Nonetheless, he finds his home once again in a Syracuse jersey on the starting attack line. And Army still with a 9-8 lead, and Falk doesn't win this faceoff either. Another violation. It's been a postseason drought for Syracuse. The last national championship they won was 2009. Last time they went to a national championship game was 2013. It's been a long time for Syracuse. This is not the historic program that people know the history of. 11-time national champions, 12 if you don't take the lost trophy away. Started in the early 80s. Roy Simmons Jr. was the longtime head coach for Syracuse Lacrosse. A drive here, a shot goes wide. Porter able to deflect it away. Now Peter Durth, man, he's like a fullback running the lacrosse ball. He's fun to watch. Tries to find his goalkeeper on the pass, puts it over the head of Drake Porter. Out of bounds it goes, and it'll be a restart. Another turnover for Syracuse as Porter comes and shows his love and support for Peter Durth, two of the leaders on this team. A penalty flag is on the ground as well. And it looks like Army will go man up. It does actually go against Army. Aiden Burns is the guilty man. A push from behind. A very simple penalty you didn't need if you're Army. Syracuse a 30-second man up. And in just 30 seconds, Syracuse can find the net. No doubt about it. A goal here would tie the game. Scanlon, feed to the inside. And a big save down low by the goalkeeper, Wyatt Schulper. He has been sensational for Army throughout this contest. And with that, the man up expires. Syracuse with a tough ride here. But it looks like the Black Knights will clear it away with little to no difficulty. Schuppler, 7 saves in net today. On the other side, his counterpart, Drake Porter, the All-American, with 2. And that was a big one right on the doorstep. As Army slows things down a little bit here. Bobby Abshire carrying. Now a give to Gunnar Phillip. Phillip, left side, ripper, and it goes high. Porter was there. Over the net, Army has the backup, trying to bury one once again for the Black Knights. I guess when you're hot, you let things fly, and it was Nicholas Ettinger who wanted another. Now Nick Turn at X. A shot and a goal. The Black Knights take this lead back to 2, and it was Gunnar Phillip who sent one to the back of the net. The Black Knights just share the ball so well here. And it was Nick Turn to Gunnar Phillip, flexing his muscles, and Army takes a 10-8 lead over Syracuse. Again, Porter in a situation where these shots are coming within 5 to 8 yards on a radius. You know, these are not rippers from 15-plus yards away. So his defense, his close defense is kind of leaving him on an island here. And Army, as far as shots on goal go, 27, Syracuse 22. Scrum for it here at the face-off X. And another big win for Army. Stevie Graber has won the last handful, 3 to be exact, for the Black Knights. Bear chasing this one down. It's on the Syracuse half of the field. Now the Black Knights will look to clear as possession is finally awarded. Syracuse has won 12 face-offs. Army has won 8. So that lead has slimmed significantly since coming out of halftime. But the Black Knights turned it over now with a offsides. Scanlon tried to find a cutting midfielder with the 2s in, and it just seems like when Syracuse has the second line of midfield in, the communication isn't quite there yet, as Owen Seabold couldn't corral it, and another turnover for the Orange. Black Knights finished last season with a 6-2 record. Syracuse a 5-0 record. Army defeated 3 ranked opponents in that time. One of them was not Syracuse. The Orange finished number 1 in the country and the favorites to win the national championship. Now Army looking to extend the lead. 50 seconds in the shot clock. Couple of rule changes in college lacrosse this year, and the face-off has been the biggest one. And the Black Knights bury another one. Just simply outplaying the Orange at this point, out-hustling the Orange on ground ball opportunities. Porter has been left on an island all day. And again, burying one of the back of the net is Nicholas Ettinger, number 45 in black and gold. He can't be stopped right now, and the Black Knights are hot. Third goal today for Ettinger. And it's an 11-8 lead for Army. John Desko talking to Roy Simmons III, trying to come up with something to respond here. And now Danny Varello has checked in to take faceoffs for Syracuse, a violation against Army, and the ones come back in at the midfield for Syracuse. Griffin Cook on the left side. This offensive attack for the Orange is deadly if they can just get things going again. Griffin Cook tried to find a cutting Dordovic, and it went too far wide. Dordovic able to scoop it up, and they'll send it back towards midfield for Curry to get a dodge. Curry shifting the hips of his defender. Curry makes a man miss, but he drops the ball, gets it checked away by Bayer, and a whistle is blown. Scanlon on a quick restart. Some chippy play here, checking it out of the hands of the defender. Wanted to start instantly. And now here's Syracuse. Again, a rivalry game. Both teams talking. Both teams playing aggressive, physical lacrosse. And you saw it right there. A little bit of chippy play on the field. Here's Scanlon left side. Army's really pushing out their guys, especially their defenders. Playing Syracuse all the way well past the top of the box, which you don't see all of the time. Here's Curry, a dodge from X, feed to the top, try to find Griffin Cook. Cook's able to retreat, and a defender, Bayer's on his hips all the way out there. Cook makes a miss. Dordovic a ripper from the top, and it ricochets off the pipe once again. That's the second time in a row that Syracuse has a shot ding off the iron. And now here's Army with a fast break opportunity in transition. They'll slow it down and pull things away. Now Nick Turn from behind. Roll to the right side. Lets one fly. Drake Porter's there. A much-needed save for the All-American goaltender. And up to Brennan Curry goes the pass. That's a big save out of Drake Porter. And the Orange moving it in transition. Owen Seabold carrying. Now it's Lucas Quinn. Rafis a spin. Pass back to the top. Seabold finding in the middle. Back to Quinn. Quinn thought about pulling the trigger. And this mini line just doesn't have the same vibe for Syracuse. Rafis creates separation. His shot went wide left. Scanlon's back there for the backup. So the possession will stay on this end of the field for Syracuse. Down 3. They have not found the net in quite some time. Seabold will give it a run. From X. He's carrying. Spin move on the right side. Over to Rafis at X. Rafis a cutting Griffin Cook, and it goes off the stick of the goalkeeper. Another big play in net by Wyatt Schuppler. And he simply is not letting the Orange score on them right now. A holding call goes against Chase Scanlon on the ride, so Army will keep it. John Desko shaking his head with his hands up in the air, wondering what the call is for. I saw a simple check by Chase Scanlon, but a holding call is what the referees decided. And now Army slows down their offense once again, giving their defense a much-needed breather here. Again, that's kind of the pace of a lacrosse game, right? The attack here for Army is just going to give this a nice 15, 20, 30 seconds to give their defense a breather. They played defense for really the time length of 2 possessions. And Syracuse came away empty on many opportunities. Skip pass to the top. A rifle, and Porter was there, but it went wide left. Gunnar Phillip was trying to find the captain, Nicholas Garofano, at the top. Syracuse dodged a little bit of a bullet there. And now the restart as the Black Knights had a backup. Nick Turn with it, carrying at X. Nick Turn, a feed to the top, and nobody's home. Some miscommunication between the Black Knights and Syracuse trying to get this ball back. Instead, it's awarded to Army, and Garofano's the first to pick it up. 4:34 and counting left to go here in quarter number 3. If you're Syracuse, it's getting to be time to find a response here. Both teams have gone without a goal as of late. Gunnar Phillip at X. Spins around his defender, and he buries another one. Army's biggest lead of the day is up to 4. And on the doorstep, getting beat again, was the Syracuse defense and the All-American goalkeeper, Drake Porter. This is incredible as the Army offense has just come alive here in the second quarter and in the third quarter as well. They've picked up right where they left off, and this Syracuse defense hasn't had a response. The 13th ranked Black Knights lead over the 4th ranked Syracuse Orange by a 4-point margin. We'll take a quick break here on Orange Heat. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back as Syracuse will look to make a comeback and Army will look to extend their 4-point lead. Welcome back here on Orange Heat. Army with a 12-8 lead over the Syracuse Orange in the season opener for Syracuse Lacrosse 2021. And the Orange have dug themselves a little bit of a hole. It's the largest lead of the day for the Black Knights. Syracuse led by 5 in the first quarter with a 6-1 lead over Army. And since then, it's been all Black Knights on Ernie Davis Legends Field inside the Dome. 3:36 left to go and counting in the first quarter. And Army's on the attack as well. Gunnar Phillip. Pass to the inside and behind the back goal with a flag down on the field. Incredible play by Bobby Abshir. Oh my goodness. Catching a pass and slinging it behind his back. A flag is down. That's a SportsCenter top 10 kind of play. And Drake Porter has not stood a chance on the crease like that all day. 13-8, the lead for Army. A game of runs, it certainly is, as Syracuse led by as many as 5, and now Army has tied that lead by way of 5 over Syracuse, 13-8, with 3:24 left to go in the third. Desco in a little bit of a run here. So the penalties waved off because of the goal. And Danny Varello going at it at the faceoff X for Syracuse. Trying to come away with a win. Bats it right towards an Army defender. And the LSM's able to scoop it up. Marcus Hudgens, the junior, out of Syracuse, New York. Played at West Genesee, one of the most historic high school programs in lacrosse. We'll get a push in the back called here, and Syracuse will get the possession as Griffin Cook runs the show, and the ones check back in for Syracuse. If Syracuse wants to come back, these one middies need to give it a run, because I don't think the twos can just handle it for the Orange at this point. Tucker Dordovic, here he is, and this one strikes iron again off the crossbar. Dordovic was looking for his 5th of the day and just can't catch a break. Syracuse inches away from having a different ball game right now, hitting the pipe a handful of times. That, and there's been fantastic goalie play as well. Scanlon sends one towards the net, and another big save. Playing out of his mind right now is Wyatt Shuppler for the Black Knights, and they'll clear it away in transition. Brendan Ryan carrying, and past midfield the Black Knights go. Another fantastic high to low save for the goalkeeper in net, Wyatt Shuppler. He is what is winning Army this game right now. Besides how good the offense has been, Syracuse could be matching Army at this point if it weren't for his 10 saves at this point. .144 to go in the third. Black Knights sharing the ball well. A shot here is deflected down low. And the Orange with Peter Dirth running it in transition. He gets this pass up the field. Now Syracuse with numbers. And they elect to just pull it back out and away. So here come the twos for the Syracuse midfield. And we'll see what they have to offer. Lucas Quinn. Ball gets popped out of the hands of the man carrying it. A shot goes wide right. Quinn let one fly. Wasn't afraid to do so. 1:05 to go. Griffin Cook was back there. Owen Hiltz was the one that got it tipped away, and the ball finds Hiltz's cross once again. Hiltz over to Rafis. Rafis sliding to the turf, able to get his feet back under him. Rafis now at X. A spin move. Tried to find Owen Hiltz. Ball's on the turf. Hiltz flings it away, and the only man around it is Chase Scanlon. Syracuse with 22 seconds to go on the shot clock. 35 seconds on the game clock. Griffin Cook, feed to the inside, and a phenomenal save again off the foot of Shuppler. Are you kidding me? One of the best goalie performances I've ever seen watching college lacrosse. I mean, on the doorstep, Syracuse in desperate need of a goal. Buttermore is right there, and Shuppler gets a foot on it somehow. The Black Knights looking for a quick one in transition, and a huge save by Drake Porter. Saying anything you can do, I can do better. That was much needed. It was a crease dive regardless, I believe. Danny Kilbasa going full speed ahead at the goalkeeper, Porter. Porter, off-hip save, let it deflect off his shaft. And a penalty flag is thrown. Syracuse players with fist bumps. And it looks like we're going to get a crease dive penalty here. No push. I mean, there is a little bit of a push. That's a massive save for Drake Porter there. I mean, that is an impressive save. 1 second to go in the third, so this will likely take us to the fourth. Probably would have been a crease dive regardless, but Porter showed up right there. Referees still conversing here, trying to get an official call. A flag was thrown. It was a very, very late flag. We'll see if they're going for a push or if they're getting a crease dive. I mean, it's one of the two. Okay, so I think they're going to get goalie interference here, it appears. So Kilbasa will have to take a seat for goalie interference. And that's a big break if you're Syracuse because, again, they're deadly on the man up. And head coach Joe Alberici is letting the referees know that he wasn't too happy with that. A 1-minute man up for Syracuse. It is releasable. And Army wants a timeout to talk things over as everybody giving fist pumps to Wyatt Schuppler, their fantastic goalkeeper in net. We'll take a break here on Orange Heat. We'll be right back in just a moment. It's Syracuse and Army, the Black Knights, with a 13-8 lead over the Orange. And that concludes quarter number 3. Welcome back here on Orange Heat. It's Army with a 13-8 lead over Syracuse here as we begin the fourth quarter of action. And it all goes accredited to Wyatt Schuppler in net for the Black Knights. Absolutely standing on his head right now in the cage. He's been a monster, and Syracuse has not been able to score on him. Nolan says, let's hope that we can generate some offensive here. Trimboli is known for his fourth quarter play. Let's see him take the lead on the field. Yeah, they need it. They need it. They need a guy to just step up. Dordovic's buried 4 so far today. Look for him. Trimboli's been fairly quiet. He had a goal, which was his 100th career point, might I add. Love to see Trimboli get going. He has been a clutch player for Syracuse. This is a huge fourth quarter for the Orange. This will show a lot of character for this Syracuse team as the season goes on. But if the Orange want to be respected as a national championship quality team, this game is everything. You can't lose your season opener. And Army's a very good squad. So here we go. Quarter number 4 inside the Dome. Army leads by 5. Syracuse on the offense with a man up, and we'll see what they can do. Dordovic. Bayer is absolutely feasting right now, checking the hands of Dordovic. Tipped the ball away as well. He's one great defender. Brendan Curry. Scanlon finds a cutting man, and Owen Hilt buries it to the back of the net. 13-9. The lead slimmed down to 4, and that's perfect if you're Syracuse. Actually exactly what you needed. Just a great cut there by Hilt. No doubt about it, off the feed from number 22, Scanlon. Owen Hiltz came in as the number 2 rated recruit in the class of 2020, according to Inside Lacrosse. Syracuse, the recruiting game has changed a lot just because the game has spread so much. It has grown so much. You got teams like Yale all out of nowhere. You have teams like Penn State, Ohio State, Denver. It's changed the recruiting game. No longer is it just Maryland, Syracuse, North Carolina, Duke. It's a different ballgame now. And another face-off win for the Black Knights. Syracuse dominated it in the first half, and Army has found a response. Syracuse still on a non-releasable man-up for the next 10 seconds, and Army will just run around trying to kill it here. Down to 5. And they will succeed in doing so. Nicholas Garafono at the top. The lead is by 4 for Army. Syracuse's defense needs to stop. Porter could use a big save here. Garafono on the right side. He'll take the first dodge of the possession. Carrying it at X. Behind the cage. Solid defense here out of the Syracuse defensive middies. Black Knights swinging the ball well. Back behind the net. Skip pass to the top, and Porter deflects it away. Another big save by Drake. It goes out of bounds, and the Black Knights with no problem have a backup. So Brendan Nichtern was closest to the ball when it went out. Now Nichtern doing it himself, spinning, shooting, and finding the left corner stick side of Drake Porter. 14-9, the lead back to 5 as Nichtern is shaken up, but he buries his 4th goal of the day. Nichtern, with one of the best defenders in the ACC, Brett Kennedy, draped all over him. Kennedy pushes out too far, gets a little bit out of position. Nichtern with a spin move. And Kennedy just had his stick in front instead of keeping it behind. And he buries one over the stick side of Drake Porter. It's go time if you're Syracuse. Fought back into the game, taking the faceoffs instead of Varello. A violation. John Desko's losing his mind on the sideline as Army is awarded the possession, and the refs change their mind. So it goes back to Syracuse. Everybody looked confused on the field. They still are. And the possession is Army. Okay. Army ball. Everybody inside the dome was confused for a moment. Army gave it to Syracuse. Then Syracuse gave it to Army. But Army with the ball. Up 5 with the possession. It's getting to be kill clock time a little bit here if you're the Black Knights. Under 13 minutes to play. Some new faces here in the ball game. And the Orange get a much-needed turnover forced. Brett Kennedy flings it up into the air. Both teams fighting for a loose ground ball. Syracuse with a transition opportunity if they can get there. Scanlon's now with it. Whistle is blown. They'll elect to restart. And here comes Syracuse. Again, a whistle is blown. And the ball gets back to Scanlon. The ref wants them to take a step outside of the box before they start it up. Now Syracuse with the possession. So the referees really just killed a fast break chance for the Orange. Stephen Rafis left side. Now Brendan Curry. Curry running full speed ahead. Curry lets one fly. Curry finds the back of the net. A low-to-low shot on the run coming across the middle. And finally, Brendan Curry is able to beat Wyatt Shuppler. Just a low ripper, stick side for Shuppler. Didn't step towards the ball, just kind of tried to go down at it. And Brendan Curry with a big goal for Syracuse, drawing it back to a 4-point game as Shuppler tries to shake that one off. He was there. But just a little bit too fast out of the midfielder for Syracuse. Brendan Curry. Now the face-off acts once again. And it's a win for FOP when Syracuse needed it most. Up to Scanlon. A clean win for Jacob Foff at the face-off action. Those have been few and far between in the second half for Syracuse. And that has been a big part of the story today. Here's Brendan Curry. Curry splitting the defense. Pass to the middle. Scanlon sends one towards the net. It was deflected. His stick was checked. Curry scoops it up. Now it's Griffin Cook behind. Back to Scanlon. 50 seconds on the shot clock for Syracuse. Plenty of time. Scanlon draws it out, and he'll take a dodge from X. He has a short pole on him. Trying to exploit that is Syracuse. Rafis over to Curry. Curry, a wide open ripper, and he hits the pipe again. The Orange cannot catch a break. Painting corners is Syracuse, and they just keep hitting the lead. That's the 4th or 5th time that's happened. A perfect shot deflects off the pipe. But the Orange have the possession. Griffin Cook over to Curry, over the head of Curry, and it's a turnover for Syracuse. That's detrimental to when you're trying to make a comeback right now. 10:42 left on the clock as head coach John Desko looks on. An injury on the field. It's Tucker Dordovic. He's limping on that wrapped up leg. Again, he tore his ACL at his freshman season, and he appears to be limping on the same exact leg here. This is not good news if you're Syracuse if Brendan Curry has re-injured that ACL. Now, again, we don't like to assume, but he is limping on that very leg. A flag is down as Tucker Dordovic heads to the sideline and Army will clear. Flag was picked up, I believe. 10:35 left to go. Army leads it by 4. 14-10's your score. Syracuse with a big ride, trying to force a turnover. Black Knights moving the ball well. We're even 6-on-6. And they're taking all the time in the world. 40 seconds in the shot clock for Army. And another goal out of the Black Knights, making it look easy. Down low for his third is Bobby Abshir. Just running past the defensive midfielders for Syracuse. The slide wasn't there in time. And on the doorstep, there's not much Drake Porter can do. And Bobby Abshir has had a couple of crease diving goals so far today. That was another one. It's getting gloomy inside the dome if you're Syracuse. This was not the season opener that many had expected, myself included. Especially not when Syracuse jumped out to a 6-1 lead early on. Fopp with a face-off win at the X. Fast break opportunity. Scanlon a pump fake. Tries to get to the inside. Lost control of the ball. It's tipped away. They will call it a shot. And Syracuse will keep the possession. But that was a big chance for the Orange on a fast break. Scanlon gives it up to Curry. Dordovic is back on the field for Syracuse. Here's Dordovic spinning, retreating. The West Genesee grad all over his hands. Back to Rafis. Now Curry. Here's Trimboli. They need a goal out of him more than ever. Trimboli a drive. Trimboli sends one towards the net, and a fantastic save again by Shuppler. The Orange able to get it back. The pass goes too far for Curry to handle. Dordovic's there to scoop it up. And we're exactly under 9 minutes to play here. Syracuse down by 5. 15-10 is the score. Syracuse in need of a big one. Pass the feed to the inside. Shuppler with another doorstop stave. Absolutely incredible. He's standing on his head. And Syracuse just cannot bury these shots right now. The best chance all day. A feed down low to an attackman. And Wyatt Shuppler was there to stone him right on the crease. 12 saves today for Wyatt Shuppler in net for Army. And this game could be a lot closer if he lets a couple of those past him. So now the Black Knights taking their time, under 8 minutes to go. Gunnar Phillip behind the cage. Peter Dirth draped all over him. Phillip trying to get a step on Dirth. Brett Kennedy switches on him. And Dirth will cover the middle. And another goal for the Black Knights. A spin move down low, creating separation, and the Army Black Knights are running away with it. Brendan Nickturn with another one. And it's a 16-10 lead for Army. They're just playing more physical lacrosse than Syracuse when they get inside, whether it's defense, but especially on offense. 7:31 left to go. Army up big. We'll take a quick break here, and it's a 6-point lead for the Black Knights. Welcome back here on Orange Sheet. Army with a 16-10 lead over Syracuse. 7.5 minutes to play, and it's go time. Do or die if you're the Orange in the season opener. And the experience of Army has shown off. One game under their belt could be a world of a difference. Falk tried to win a face-off. Still a fight for it on the left side. Getting thrown to the ground that time is a couple of Syracuse midfielders, and the Orange end up with it. It's a 2-on-1 fast break opportunity and a goal for Stephen Rafis, his first of the day. It was Scanlon and Rafis on an island with Wyatt Shuppler, and Rafis buried one when Syracuse needed it desperately. The lead down to 5. And the Cardiac Qs do this better than anybody coming back in a lacrosse game. It's not over. Here's Fopp at the face-off X. Fopp fighting for it. Gets it stuck in his stick. And we'll get a violation against the Orange. A flag is thrown up in the air. Awaiting the call. We'll see who goes on the man up here. It goes against Fopp. Fopp is the guilty man on the penalty. And it looks like it'll be a 30-second. Yep, Army man up for 30 seconds. Unnecessary roughness out of Fopp. Pushing the back. That's a big call. Down 5 for Syracuse. That's a big call. Need the defense to step up right now more than ever. Army sharing the ball. Waiting for their opportunity. 8 seconds left in the man up. Down to 4. Now 3. Now we're back at even once a player gets on the field. And even we are. 6-on-6 lacrosse once again. Under 6.5 minutes to play here in quarter number 4. Army leads it 16-11 over Syracuse. Feed to the top. Tipped away. The Orange trying to be there. Peter Dirth trying to scoop it up. And instead, Army ends up with it. Once again, it's the attackman down low, Gunnar Phillip. Pass to the top. Phillip a ripper. And it deflects off the shoulder of the All-American goalkeeper and not Drake Porter. That's a big save. But Army scoops up the ground ball. Not only do they get the possession back, they get a fresh 80 seconds on the shot clock. Syracuse down by 5. Army has held this possession for almost 2 minutes in time length. Gunnar Phillip at the top. Under 50 seconds to go on the shot clock. 5:11 on the game clock. And this is what Army wants to do. Just kill out the clock. Weed it away. Make this Syracuse defense tired. Capitalize on it and put a nail in the coffin. Nick Turn from X with a D midi on him. That's been a mismatch all day for Syracuse. Having, oh my goodness, a feed to a diving Bobby Abshire again. The guy is just full out extending himself, diving on the ground, makes a catch, and the quick stick into the back of the net again. Absolutely incredible. And Drake Porter, again, does not stand a chance on that. A huge feed from Nick Turn. And Abshire puts the nail in the coffin against Syracuse. But as I was saying, for Syracuse, they waited for that switch too. Kind of like what I was trying to say. They have a short stick D midi back there on the attackman behind. So that's that mismatch. The attackman's going to have a step because there's not a long pole on him. As soon as they switch Brett Kennedy, that's when the traffic clears out in the middle. That's exactly when the cut came. And that's exactly when the feed from Nick Turn came. And that's how they scored that goal. I mean, you don't want that mismatch with a short stick on a short stick behind because the attackman's going to win every time. But then you have to find the right time to switch because as soon as Brett Kennedy left his man, that's when the cut came. And that's when the goal came. And just absolutely an insane shot that time for the Army Black Knights. Incredible athleticism out of Bobby Abshire. The Orange looking for a response. Curry on the inside. Pass gets deflected down. Fopp was looking for an open man. Curry. And Army with the possession again. It's getting gloomy here inside the dome. 17-11 is the score. Under 4 minutes to play. And Army just killing this clock at this point. Carrying behind at X for the Black Knights is Danny Kilbasa again. He'll take a run at Curry. Nolan mentioned it earlier in the comment section that Syracuse is not getting their offensive midfielders off the field and getting their D-middies on. Well, Brendan Curry's an offensive midfielder, and right now he's draped up over an attackman. I mean, that's not ideal if you're Syracuse. Nick Turn, spinning, sent one high over the head of Drake Porter. Out of bounds it goes. Army has the backup, and scooping it up is Gunnar Phillip once again. Everybody is contributing for Army offensively. Whether you're Gunnar Phillip, whether you're Nick Turn, whether you're Garifano. I mean, the list just goes on and on. And getting them going early was Aiden Burns as well. A turnover here for the Black Knights. Syracuse to clear in transition. Drake Porter sharing it with his long poles, trying to find an open midfielder. And a pass is intercepted. A gutsy one. Porter retreats into the net. And Army slows it down again. And it's Burns carrying. What an impressive game out of the Black Knights as a flag is down on the field as well, which means Army will go man up after this. So basically a free possession here, as the penalty will not come into play until possession changes. In high school, it's that the ball hits the ground. In college, it's that the possession changes. And as a high school lacrosse player, I wish it was that till the possession changes, because when you play till the ball hits the ground, it's tough sometimes. And look at this. A wide open opportunity on a shot for Bobby Abshire, and he elects to pass it away to Nick Turn just to kill more clock. Here's Nick Turn looking for a shot. Nick Turn rifles one, and it goes off the shoulder of Drake Porter. So now the penalty will come into effect. Good shot from Nick Turn. And Army will have a man up here with 1 minute and 37 seconds left. That's, it's not over yet, but they say, it's over when the fat lady starts singing. She's warming up. She's getting ready. 17-11 is the lead for the Black Knights over Syracuse. .130 to go inside the dome. 17-11, a 6-point lead for Army. The man up, a 30-seconder with 12 seconds left to go. Syracuse playing with a goalie not in the cage. Porter covering the attackman behind. Army could just throw it into the net at any time, but they'd rather kill the clock in this game. Porter is fully out of net. And the shot clock at 38 for Army. The game clock at 52. So they will have to give it up or a shot on net or a goal or whatever. They just can't run out the rest of the clock. But it is all but over. Ashby pass to the inside and another goal for the Black Knights. Burns buries the open netter. Aiden Burns with another one today. Porter had a tough day in net. And the lead for Army up to 7, 18-11 now the score. And it will likely be your final. Just a backhanded slinger from Aiden Burns from about 6 yards out. His third goal on the day. And Army is very excited on the sideline, as they very well should be. Syracuse looked at as a national championship level team coming into today. And the story has been completely reversed. Joe Alberici should be very proud of his lacrosse team today. Fopp wins the faceoff. 34 seconds left to go on the clock. Tucker Dordovic coming to the ball. He'll get a dodge. Dordovic try to find Scanlon. And Syracuse dropped the attack for Syracuse, literally dropping balls today. And I mean, this isn't the first time, this is multiple times today. Dordovic gets driven to the ground. Try to find Curry. 5 seconds left to go on the clock. Ball still loose. And it looks like that will do it. 1 second left to go. And that's it. Army upsets Syracuse in convincing fashion. 18-11, the final score. And it all comes off the shoulders of the man between the pipes, Wyatt Shuppler in net, the goalkeeper for the Black Knights today. A sensational game if you're an Army fan. And for Syracuse fans, it's a look in the mirror kind of day as to what team they have. But Army gets a big win after losing to Virginia last week, comes to the Dome and shocks the college lacrosse world, taking down Syracuse. Thanks so much for tuning in today on Orange Heat. Again, really appreciate the support as always. It's Army with a big win over Syracuse. We'll see you guys next time.